guys are ridiculous. These guys are ridiculous.
Now, how about them damn Celtics?
And we are back for another episode of How About Them Celtics. Sam and I are here recording on Monday, December 4th, the day of the Celtics-Pacers game. Our recap of the Celtics-Pacers in-season tournament quarterfinal will be in a little bit. You're going to hear it in about like 2 minutes here. But we're recording the bulk of the episode, so everything before and after the Celtics-Pacers review will have been before the game, so we will not have any reactions. There'll be no tidbits from the game because the game hasn't happened yet, so we haven't seen it as we're talking about it. I will say, just while we're doing the intro, do you want to do Inpopnito before or after the Celtics-Pacers? Before?
Do it first.
We'll do it first. Before that, I just want to give a shout out to my man getting freed tomorrow. Duke is free.
Duke finally getting freed.
He beat the allegations. He's coming out. Well, fingers crossed. He's going to the vet tomorrow, and they will determine if he's allowed to come out of the cage. Now, excuse me, if we have any new listeners and or viewers since the Duke era started, my dog Duke tore his ACL 2 months ago. And he had to get surgery for it. And after surgery, he had to have a cone on. But not only did he have to have a cone on, he also had to go in a cage. And so he was not allowed to come out of the cage. He was not allowed to, walk around freely. He wasn't allowed to go out by himself. He had to be on a leash. And just because I feel obliged, it's just the best fucking picture.
The best picture ever.
This is Duke 2 months ago.
That'll be me in the recap if they lose today.
He gets freed tomorrow, hopefully. So prayers up for Duke. Let's hope they free my man. But we can now do our Inpopnito giveaway. Shout out to the winner last time, Gerald. I responded to your comment. Hit us up in the email. We'll get you set up. But new winner coming in today. Got the wheel set up. Email Ian. I think his name's Josh, but the email says DJ, so we'll put him in as DJ because there's another Josh on here. But let's see you get some popcorn today. Who will it be? And we're not saying any names today.
We don't want to jinx it, no. I mean, we want to have our contest be one with integrity. We have our winner.
Shout out, Jesse. We will get in
Time for me to
contact.
go in the comments and say, guess what, buddy?
We will respond to your comment. Send us an email if you see this before we do. Need your name, phone number, email, and we'll get you set up with some Inpopnito. We appreciate you. Thank you for commenting, Jesse. But yeah, I think we can throw it over to a review of the Celtics-Pacers game. All right, and thank you to our past selves for throwing it over. Sam and I are here as the clock turns to 10 o'clock, Monday, December 4th, still after the Celtics-Pacers game this time, which the Celtics lost. They're not going to Vegas. They're heading back home. And the Pacers will be moving on to Vegas to compete in the next round of the in-season tournament. Mess of a game. I know Sam's going to get mad. It was a very fun game. It was objectively great game. Not fun for you, but objectively a great game. It was back and forth. This was exactly what the NBA was envisioning when they planned out the in-season tournament. Turnovers and missed threes killed the Celtics. A bad third quarter did them in the end. And the Pacers made every single tough shot you could possibly imagine them making in the final few minutes of the game. It was, again, Sam can get mad, but I'm allowed to speak to. It was a great game, start to finish. Sucks the Celtics were on the bad end of it, but yeah,
not fun.
Not fun for you, but it was a great game.
So the Celtics played as if they collectively have a gambling addiction and didn't want to test fate in Vegas. Terrible second half. Couldn't get a stop to save their fucking life. Turned the ball over a zillion times. Yet you have people on Twitter being like, well, the Pacers made more threes, so what do you want out of them? How about you just control the things that you can control and then go from there? Maybe don't turn the ball over 17 times against a bottom 5 defense. Maybe try that. Maybe take care of the ball. Maybe don't force stupid shots for the majority of the third quarter, early fourth quarter. How about that? Just don't play sloppy. Don't get sped up. Don't get frazzled. I felt like I just watched the team that they blew up because it couldn't finish games or win in big moments for the last 24 minutes of that game. You knew the third quarter was going to be bad. You know why? Because they can't seem to fix the problem that's been bothering them all season. Never mind what happened on the other end. I mean, listen, sometimes you're going to go up against some all-time performances. Halliburton was excellent. He turned up in the fourth quarter. What are you going to do? You know what you can do? Don't give him extra possessions. Don't turn the ball over 17 times. Step 1. 17-6 in turnovers. You're second best defense in the league. Can't get a stop for your life. In the last 5 minutes of the game, you can't get a stop. A single stop. Can't get a stop. These are the kind of things that make you be like, I don't know if this team can win a title. This is a big spot, a big moment in an intense game, and they absolutely wither. I don't care if Porzingis is out there or not. You're there, win the game. You have your guys, you have your future pieces. Why can you not execute well enough to win a game? Why? Why is it that every time you're in a situation like this, it's impossible to believe in the team? It's because they are who they show you they are.
I'm not as I don't think this was their worst loss of the year. I think some of their wins.
I don't think it's the worst
game.
loss, but I think the issues are important.
I do too, but I feel like, at least from what I was seeing and what I thought a lot of their turnovers were less them doing the wrong thing. I thought there were a lot of miscommunications in this game that led to some turnovers.
That's even worse.
I disagree. I don't, I think most of the time the turnovers were them playing the wrong way, doing stupid shit. In this game, it just felt like, two players were offbeat and they ran the wrong way or something. Like, I wasn't, obviously turnovers were a problem, but I think they have been a bigger problem in other games. I think the third quarter, a lot of the offensive shot selection was a big problem. I also think they missed a lot of open threes. And I think those three things combined led to the loss. As far as the not getting stops down the stretch, could they have played better on defense? Yes. The Pacers also just made fucking crazy shots. And I know that's not the whole thing, bro. Halliburton, like Jaylen Brown, bad closeout objectively, but that's
went to another
shot.
Level. Fair.
Exactly. All of these Pacers guys made huge shots down the stretch, and I'm not using this as an excuse, at one point there was a line
10 fourth quarter points. I mean, that can't happen.
I'm not saying it can, but I'm not as upset as this game as I'm seeing the general consensus on Twitter. Was it a good game? No, they lost. No losing game is usually, at least, like very rare case, going to be a good game. I think it was turnovers, untimely turnovers, even though, again, I stand by the fact that a lot more of them were miscommunication than they have in other games. Missed open threes. I mean, early on, Jaylen Brown was fucking awesome driving to the paint and kicking out. And they just couldn't make shit. Like Jayson Tatum's, a lot of Tatum's threes, which we can talk about too, were bad. They were forced. Like, that's fine. But like Jaylen Brown, 2 of 7, most of his until the end there when they were just trying to get back into it were driving kicks. Al Horford missed his 1-3. Derek White 2 for 9. Almost all of his were catch and shoot. Drew Holiday 1 of 5, and Peyton Pritchard 0 of 4. Like, your guys are missing catch and shoot threes. That's tough to overcome. The turnovers added on to that. And then the third quarter where they started there were some of those like bad threes sprinkled in there, but really, like, they were just like taking some silly mid-range shots, Tatum and Brown, back to back. Like they were instead of taking them all the way into the post, which worked, they kind of turned around and settled for some shots, and then Indiana capitalized. And I mean, you can see why Indiana is the best offense in the league. They play fast as shit. They are a blur. Halliburton's awesome. They cared more, unfortunately, in this game, and
that's the problem.
It showed up. I'm not saying it's not. That's why I said it.
These things are problems. Like, they are somewhat circumstantial. Like, yes, it's unfortunate that you just had a poor shooting night. Personally,
I don't think the Celtics didn't care. I just want to quantify it. I don't think they didn't care. I just think the Pacers cared more, and that was a problem.
Like, the Celtics, there weren't a lot of times where I was like, that was a horrible shot from 3. Yeah. Unless the guy was Tatum. Then it was every single time, why is he shooting this shot? But for the most part, the ball movement was pretty good. But if you're going to have a night where you miss shots, you can't automatically lose the game. Even though they missed shots, they were within what? They were tied with a couple minutes to play, right?
They had a chance.
They're in the game.
They definitely had a chance.
You know how they could have made up some points is by taking care of the ball. Just not doing dumb shit, communicating better, being more focused. These are all the things that come playoff time are going to become really, really important. This was a big red flag game. You say what you want. The old heads will say it's just a regular season game. The in-season tournament doesn't matter. The truth is the in-season tournament was a lot of fun. It still is. And you had a chance to be in the the semifinals. You were right there at the end. You couldn't buy a stop. And how much of that is the Pacers being hot? Probably a fair amount, but there's still execution shit. You can't just be giving up switches if you don't have to. You have to adjust to what they're doing.
Yeah. I'm just looking at the numbers. They shot fucking 19 of 40 from 3. That's crazy. I mean, and I know some of them like were miscommunications for the Celtics, but a lot of those makes were just Tyrese. Dude, Halliburton.
He made big shots.
He was fucking awesome in this game. He was great. Buddy Hield made his shots. Mathurin made some big ones. Aaron Nesmith his shoes. Obi Toppin made a couple like, what the fuck are we doing here? Threes at the start of the game. Yeah, like I said, I think this game came down to Celtics missing open threes, Celtics turning the ball over in bad spots, and a third quarter where the Pacers were able to take advantage of their a few bad shots by the Celtics. Other than that, and I mean, those are obviously 3 like key things you need to do, but like, I don't think this was an absolute disaster of a game for the Celtics. They didn't play like their best basketball, obviously, or else they would have won because they're a better team. But I'm not looking at this game, at least personally. I know you feel differently, but I'm not looking in this game as the absolute end of the world. It's bad, and there are things you can address from it. But, dude, the Pacers played fucking great in this game. This was one of the better defensive games the Pacers have played all fucking season, and part of that was the Celtics helping them out a little bit at times. But, like, I mean, I don't think it was an effort problem. I think it was an execution problem. I think they missed shots. I think they were sloppy at times, and I think they took some bad looks. But like, man, the Pacers just fucking ran it down their throats in the second half.
You got to be able to do something about it, though. It's a 24 minutes sustained onslaught as the second best defense in the NBA. You have to do something. Something has to happen. You have to lock in, go to another level, do something.
I think there were spurts where they did improve. I think there were spurts where they found success switching or they were able to contest at the rim and they got some rebounds, but a play later, somebody would make a ridiculous shot. And I don't know if it deflated them, but then the Pacers would just feed off of that contested shot. So I'm not saying the Celtics defense was good, but I also think a part of it was every time the Celtics were able to string together 2 stops, the Pacers would come right back down and hit a fucking ridiculous shot. And then they would just feed off of that. Again, was this a great game for the Celtics? Obviously not. And I'm not trying to defend the way they played because they obviously made mistakes that they need to address. But I really don't like. I think this was more Pacers were fucking nasty than Celtics were awful, in my opinion. But
yes, but also the Celtics shouldn't have put themselves in that position.
What do you mean?
They played a solid first half. They come out in the third quarter, they melt.
Yeah,
this is a trend. It's not a one-off. It needs to be fixed.
Yes.
They are not good at the end of close games traditionally with this core. Tatum and Brown at the top, not good in close games. This is a big close game, and they melt, and they're unable to execute, and the ball is getting turned over. These are all things that they need to fix. And will Porzingis being back help? Sure. But you're there tonight. You put yourself in a position to win the game. You could have been in position to coast to the finish line if you didn't just fall apart in the third quarter, per usual. I don't know, man. It just feels like Groundhog Day. And again, you can say, doesn't matter. This is not you.
It matters. It
doesn't matter. Regular season game, the whole 9. But at the end of the day, this was almost a practice for the playoffs. And you got bounced in the first round. Is it single game elimination? Yes, it absolutely is. But that's just, I don't know. You got to rise to the occasion. The Pacers played an ass kicking of a game. They did awesome.
Great. They were
everything you said about the Pacers is fair. It's true. They deserve credit. But the Celtics also deserve some slander. They deserve to be dragged.
Listen, in terms of effort, because I feel like a lot of the conversation from fans, I'm not saying you, but like in general, is going to be the Celtics didn't try. And I tweeted out the Pacers wanted it more because they did. But when I said that, I wasn't trying to say that the Celtics didn't want it. Look at the way they played throughout the first half, particularly, because it was a rough second half. Obviously, we've said that. But they were attacking Halliburton. They were going at him. They were locking in on defense. Like they were like the end of the second quarter, you could see like, oh shit, the Celtics want this game. They're trying to shut up the crowd. And then third quarter opens. And it's sloppy, and they turn the ball over, and they're taking some questionable shots, and the Pacers get rolling, and it goes downhill. And then in the fourth quarter, the Celtics battle back. They're coming back. You can see them building stuff. They tie the game at one point. They're getting shots. They're matching the intensity. And then the end of the game, and in my opinion, yes, were there some mistakes at the end of the game the Celtics made? Obviously, yes. End of the game, Pacers fucking making everything, right? Like the Celtics defense slipped up a couple times, but in my opinion, from what I saw, Pacers just like, all right, we're not fucking missing. Like, we're just going to make every shot now.
Get ready for the NFL season with incredible offers from FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Right now, new customers can bet $5 and get $200 in bonus bets. Guaranteed. That's guaranteed. Plus, all customers who bet $5 will get $100 off NFL Sunday Ticket from YouTube and YouTube TV. Now is the best time to join FanDuel. It absolutely is. The app is easy to use, and you can be on everything from spreads to player props and more. So visit FanDuel.com/Boston. Kick off the NFL season with an offer you won't want to miss. FanDuel, official partner of the NFL.
So I think this game was lost in the third quarter when they gave up that momentum, which is a problem and it needs to be addressed. And they showed some life in that Chicago game. But as we said after the game, it's fucking Chicago. So it doesn't matter, right? Like it doesn't fucking matter because the Bulls stink. And it showed back up again in this one. And you need to figure it out. I want to see if this was the fewest points the Pacers have given up. Yeah. So how many did the Celtics end with? 112?
112.
The Pacers defense has given up 112 or less twice, and it was to the Bulls and the Spurs.
I mean, this is why I'm mad.
I know.
Like, do you not like understand? Not you, but like this is why people get upset, because all you have to not do, you just have to not be the absolute worst.
They couldn't hit any shots.
You just named the
they couldn't hit anything.
Worst.
They couldn't hit anything. They're missing every single open three they got. Every single one. And I know that's not the part you like the most, but like when we're talking about scoring, that is the problem. Like that is the biggest glaring problem. And I know the turnovers were part of it.
Kind of sucks. I mean, you won the rebound battle by 22. You shouldn't be in a position where you're scrapping and losing. They won the rebound battle
by 22 because they couldn't hit a shot. They kept getting offensive rebounds.
That's good on them, but take care of the ball.
I agree with you, and I'm not
it's
saying
something that's in their control. They need to be able to hold on to it. When
I know
shooting goes wrong, which it's going to happen at some point, you got to be able to just capitalize on the things that you're in control of. And what happened tonight is they didn't do that, and they had me in a position where I had no faith that they could get a stop. Those are two things I never want to feel in a big game. All right, sorry.
Yes, but to disregard the fact that they couldn't hit an open shot to save themselves is unfair, I think. I don't know if you're doing that, but if you are, I think that's unfair.
You're in the game win.
What?
You're in the game win.
Yes, I agree with you. I'm just saying the fact that they shot 29% from three hurt them. And I don't think outside of Tatum, they were taking bad shots. And I'm not trying to say this as an excuse of saying, oh, analytics,
I'm not saying
whatever,
they
this
took
is
bad
a one-off.
shots beside Tatum. We're on the same page with the shot selection. I thought the shot selection was fine. I thought it was just unfortunate they missed shots.
They couldn't hit shit. Mm-hmm.
That's going to happen, though.
Yes, sure.
I just think it shows character that when they have an off shooting night, things go as sideways as they do.
Has it been that way all season?
I think it has.
I feel like they've been a lot better. I think they've been a lot better at it this year. I'm going to double check.
I just think they've had more consistent shooting nights.
Let me look.
I could be completely wrong, but I remember seeing a stat.
I could also be wrong.
Anytime they shoot over 43%, they're going to win.
I don't think they've shot 40% a lot this season. If I'm remembering correctly. No. From three. Is it going to let me fucking look here? Hold up. Sorry. I'm scrambling now because I do want to see this stat though. So apologies to the fucking listeners. Let's see here.
I think I finally talked around enough to find what I'm actually trying to say is this is just a character loss to me, and that's why it bothers me so much.
Okay.
And it's not about the hustle. Like I thought their effort was pretty much satisfactory. I just didn't like the carelessness.
Yeah, that's fair. And your stats track, they've shot worse than 30% from three 4 times. 3 of them are losses, and they have 15 plus turnovers in 3. So you're right. That is a problem. They could control.
It's just like you can't solely live and die by the three. Having it be a staple of the offense and relying on the analytics is one thing, but to just be dickheads and have the 3-pointers cover up your shortcomings like that is just a big red flag. Like it just hurts.
I think they've been better at it this year because they're mixing in the post, and I do wish they went to a little bit more in this game.
I like the
admittedly.
post. The post was a good addition. They didn't have Porzingis. They use him for that. You can point at that if you want, but throughout the third quarter, they just need. They got to stop this shit. They got to stop.
It is crazy. It is crazy that the bar is that low. When they shoot 33% or better from deep, they have not lost. Like that's the bar, right? That's not a high bar. that's and granted, I'll say this. This game hurts more because it is the in-season tournament, which I know you tweeted Mickey Mouse's joke has been fucking awesome. Like the in-season tournament has been a rousing success. So this one hurts more.
I did have someone reply to me, be like, "This is a bad take." Blah blah blah. It's like, no shit, dumbass. Like when they advanced, I was like, "Oh, looks like it's not Mickey Mouse after all."
Sarcasm.
They made it.
Sarcasm's great. No, but it sucks that they're out of this, especially because Sam and I are going to it. But
watch the Pacers just get stomped now. I'm gonna be so mad.
I'm gonna root for the Pacers now.
I'm rooting for them too, but they better fucking win.
Yeah, no,
Buddy Hield, no integrity for the game.
And I mean, I feel like you're gonna hate this. They were fucking fun to watch tonight. Like Aaron Neesmith
Pacers
getting
are a
hyped.
fun team to watch.
That
Like,
was
I agree.
so
I don't
fun.
disagree.
Yes.
Like Halliburton's a likable player. He's one of the NBA players that just truly loves to play. Like it's hard to root against a guy like that. Neesmith is like a guy. Great to see him develop after he left the Celtics. Sucks he never got the run here. It's good to see him play well for the Pacers. Like the Pacers don't have anybody really hateable on that team. I love Bruce Brown. Wanted the Celtics to pick him up before he went to Denver. They are not like a villainous team. It's just annoying that the Celtics failed to capitalize on an opportunity to advance.
Yeah, no, I agree. My question is, why do you think? Because it's becoming a trend this way too. When they shoot worse from three, the turnovers also go sour. But when they shoot well from three, the turnovers aren't as bad. Because that's a weird dynamic
because
that
they have
doesn't
to think.
necessarily have a link. Yeah,
when the threes are going, they don't have to think because the offense is just clicking because that's how it's supposed to go.
Do you think they overthink when the threes don't fall then?
Probably.
Or do you think they don't? Do you think they don't know enough, like outside of the threes?
They certainly get frazzled when they don't fall because they're just not used to it.
Well, I agree, but my thing is that's weird this year particularly because we've seen them be successful doing other things outside of threes more, and so it's like this weird disconnect that like they have to get away from the years past of it. It's not. I don't know. That's a weird dynamic to me. Which again, I'm not saying is like an excuse. I'm saying it as they need to address that directly because it's a problem.
This was a bad Derek White game.
He was really not good in this game, and you don't see that often, which sucks.
No,
but he was not, not good in this game. But yeah, it just seems like he had some really bad turnovers in this one too, which was tough.
That's what I'm saying. Like you just can't have that happen. It's out of character for him. Like I won't kill him too much, but you just can't do that. Like there was the one at the beginning of the fourth quarter where he just like traveled and then they didn't call it and then he panicked and threw the ball out of bounds. Yeah,
he was really off in this one, which was weird. Drew Holiday wasn't awesome either. He was just kind of like he couldn't hit his shots. He couldn't find anything.
He had a good start, and then that was it.
Jaylen was really good in this game outside of the threes, but a lot of his misses were chucks at the end when they were trying to get back. He was very aggressive. He didn't have any.
It was a weird Jaylen game.
I thought he was really good, and he didn't have any assists. He deserved to have at least fucking 3 or 4. Like we can watch tomorrow or whenever. We don't like. I'm not saying we have to watch, but like you will be able to look and see like in the first 2 minutes of the game, he drove and kicked, found wide open Derek White, Drew Holiday, and they both just fucking missed the shot. I thought he was good. I think Tatum was either really good or really bad in this game. Do you know what I'm saying? I know, but like that stretch where he was murdering Halliburton, great. Attacking. And even that first pull-up 3 after he just got something to go, I know we're different here. I don't have a problem with because he's Jayson Tatum. I'll let him take that. But then once you get into the fourth quarter, it just felt like he stopped the ball. Like that, it felt like there was way too much Tatum ball in his hand.
To me,
don't move.
The fourth quarter was the only time I thought he was really good. I was like, damn, he's taking over. He's making these shots. He scored like we can't look at the quarter by quarter just yet.
Yeah.
I mean, it felt like he scored 8 to 10 points in that fourth quarter when
He
they
had
needed
13.
buckets.
It just updated. He had 13 in the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
So maybe I mean the third quarter. But it felt like there were spurts in there where he was taking them rough. He got off to a really bad start from 3. The
I
second
just
quarter
think
he was
Tatum's
1
going
of
to
5.
get there when he learns to read the room. Like you said,
Mm-hmm.
he took Halliburton 3 or 4 possessions in a row, and he settles for a 30-footer.
And I think he's
Like-
been better this year, but it's not there yet. Like he needs to keep improving that aspect. I think him and Tatum, or him and Brown, I mean, have been a lot better in that regard this year.
Just
This
a
game was not an
bizarre,
example of it.
bizarre game because you would look at like the two of them and be like, oh, like both of them shot over 50%, both had 30 points. But like watching the game, like I wasn't overly
was
impressed
awkward.
by either one of them. They had stretches where you were like, wow. But there were really, really bad stretches from both those guys. Like you said, Tatum was either really good or really bad. I felt the same way about Brown. There were some brain dead moments from Brown, I thought, too. Some of the
There were a
chucks
couple
were
bad
bad.
ones. Delano Banton was also like, he was rebounding well, but he had 3 turnovers. And from what I remember, they were all just like, what are we doing here? But yeah,
I thought he was okay.
The rebounding was
Turnovers
fine,
are never
but
good.
Derek White was really unfortunately bad in this one. The only player, I mean, I really wanted to come on here and talk about how fucking sick it was that Luke Cornett was like awesome for like a 2-minute stretch there.
Hauser was sick.
But
Hauser,
that's what I
Hauser
was
the
just
only
gonna say.
positive in the plus minus today.
I was just gonna say he was the only player on the Celtics who was like, dude, he was so, and it wasn't even just the threes either. Like I remember there was a possession where he crashed the glass, tipped it out, crashed the glass again, got it to Pritchard, relocated through. Like Hauser was so good. He's been really good this season. Credit him. But then, like, I mean, this isn't a he popped off what are you gonna do game, but like, holy shit, Tyrese Halliburton was
No, I mean
awesome.
he played good. Give him
Like,
credit, but
I
don't know,
do
man.
that's just what I wanted to do for like odds saying like every time he shot the ball, I was like, well, that's going in. Fuck. Like shit. Yeah, tough loss for the Celtics.
Tell you what,
Yeah.
happy I only have to watch them once until next Monday.
Sure. It's true.
Assholes.
Yeah. Tough game. We're gonna go watch the Pacers in Vegas now. Go Indiana. Maybe I'll have to buy some merch.
I'll have my All-Star
hat.
2024 hat.
But yeah, we'll throw it on over to our past selves once again.
Fucking dickheads. Celtics and past us.
All right. Hopefully that Celtics Pacers review went well and it's not it'd be so fun. Well, not funny, but we're both in a pretty good mood right
Not
now. If they lost, it's just gonna be normal, super angry, and then normal again. There's the flow of the show. But hopefully it wasn't that. Hopefully it's the same good energy. It's in Indiana, so we'll be recording earlier, so it's not like a super late night at the Garden. So maybe that'll help too. But first bit of Celtic stuff we have today is a Kristaps Porzingis injury update because we've had one on every single podcast since he's gotten hurt. But Woj, Adrian Wojnarowski of ESPN reports, quote, there's optimism that he'll be able to return later this week. Kristaps has missed 4 games in a row since hurting his calf against the Magic. This is important because this week is in-season tournament week, and even if the Celtics lose, they will have a game against another loser of the in-season tournament, which will be the Bucks or the Knicks, who are both good teams. So having Kristaps for any of these games coming up is important. He did not go to Latvia, despite his Instagram story, or maybe he did, but he is back. He's traveling with the team to Indiana, as you'll know by now because the game will have happened. But yeah, it looks like Kristaps is on the mend at the very least.
Yeah, it'll be great for Kristaps to be back in the lineup this year. When he's played with the Celtics, the team has done great. He's had a tremendous season. He's averaging a career high in efficiency, shooting 54.7 from the field. I don't think he's cracked 50 in any of his 8 other seasons in the league. So that speaks to how well he's fitting into his role with the Celtics. Also, he's 7'4". Players don't exactly love seeing him when they drive into the paint. He makes things a lot more difficult on opposing players, but I love watching him. His on fire mode is probably the most fun to watch of anybody on the team. I would love to have him back, especially whether or not the Celtics go to Vegas. You guys know as you listen to this, we don't know yet. It's going to be important for him to be back this week. Again, if they win, they go to Vegas, they play a semifinal game against the winner of Milwaukee and New York. And if they lose, they will host the loser of that game at the Garden on Friday. So you're playing against another quality team regardless. It would be nice to have Kristaps back, especially if you play Milwaukee again, because that team's for real. They have size. You're going to need all the size that you can get. With that being said, there's going to be a lot of time in between these games too. So, 1, more time for Kristaps to recover. 2, more time for Al Horford to get some rest as he is elderly, but playing well. So, excited to see him back in the lineup. Woj tweeted there's optimism that he'll return, but more importantly, no setbacks. So that means his recovery's gone smooth.
Yeah, good. This is kind of the update we got right after it happened. Post that super cool hot tub picture of him on Instagram of the hot tub saying, got good news this morning. We speculated probably not going to be a long-term thing. Luckily, knock on wood, sounds like it's not going to be a long-term thing. So hopefully Kristaps will be back sooner rather than later and ready to play in Vegas. Again, knock on wood, if the Celtics get there, which we don't know right now, but you guys know by the time you're hearing this. But next thing we have is, speaking of Vegas, the team the Celtics kept out of Vegas, the Orlando Magic, by beating the Bulls, are motivated still to beat the Celtics. The Magic have played the Celtics as good as any team over the past couple of seasons here. I think they were 3-1 against Boston last year. They've obviously started 1-0 this year with a big time win, the worst loss of the Celtics season in terms of points.
Won 4 straight.
In general, yes, they have. And it's because of Eddie House. Zach Lowe asked Cole Anthony why the Magic seemed to lock in against the Celtics. Anthony said, House, who said they were terrible last December. And in House's defense, they were in fact terrible last December. In House's, not to defend him, kind of fucked up because now they're good and now it's not fun to play them anymore. And now they still hate the Celtics. So, 1, respect to the Magic for holding the grudge and using it. 2, maybe Eddie House needs to apologize.
I would say it would be nice for him to apologize, but it also would be like, if Eddie House apologized for this, he would get ripped by everyone everywhere.
He shouldn't actually, but
you can't go back on it. But you shouldn't have said it in the first place. You didn't really need a crystal ball to kind of guess this Magic team was going to be on the upswing sometime soon. I know at the time it was very early in the season last year, so you didn't really know Paolo was that much of a dog just yet. You didn't know Franz was taking that leap. And I remember going into that home and home last December, they had beaten Orlando in Orlando early in the season. And the game was probably a little bit closer than we all thought. We probably all chalked it up to fluke. But we know it's kind of not a fluke. This team has been competitive for a little while now. So I would be very proud if I was a Magic fan for all my guys being full of spite. They should be. They're a young team. They're playing hard. Jalen Suggs is a ton of fun to watch. Obviously, Paolo and Franz are their top 2 guys running shit down there. Plus, they have Fultz, who we have a soft spot. I have a soft spot.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I think you have the soft spot. I like Fultz, but you love Fultz, which Fultz is a good player.
But also, Celtics, get your head out of your ass and beat these guys.
That's what I was just gonna say. Like, yes, Eddie House, like maybe should have said it. Celtics could just win. Like, Celtics could just beat them.
Not the 73-9 Warriors.
Yeah. Shout out the Magic, though. They're good. I think they could have 2 All-Stars this year. We had this conversation last spot, but the Magic are a good team. Next thing we have, speaking of good teams, the Chicago, just kidding. Bulls are terrible. And it could be a team to watch out for trades. I was writing an article for the Bulls this morning, and one of the lines in the article was, things have gone so bad that they are the first team that everyone talks about when they talk about trades now, which is true. You asked, like, which team's going to blow it up? What pieces are you looking for? You go, Caruso's cool. This player, like, it's just Bulls. It's just all the Bulls. And Bleacher Report, more specifically, who was this? Do you know which?
Greg Schwartz.
Greg Schwartz of Bleacher Report. One trade every NBA in-season tournament quarterfinalist wishes it could make right now, keeping it very relevant for the Celtics. Andre Drummond for a 2024 second-round pick via the Mavericks. So basically, a free Andre Drummond, effectively. I'm going to let you give your thoughts on this because I have some thoughts and I'd like to give second. So I'll let you go first.
Yeah, so I suppose anytime you have the opportunity to add the greatest rebounder ever for a measly second-round pick, you would probably do it, right? He doesn't make a ton of money. In order for him to be able to be a free guy, that has to be the case. Fits into that TPE that they created with the Grant sign-and trade, where they also got this pick. So essentially, you'd be sign-and trading Grant for Andre Drummond. It wouldn't hurt. It feels like that backup big guy spot is the most cloudy spot of all the spots on this roster right now. And that's not to say Luke Cornett hasn't looked good or Nimi hasn't looked solid in some of his minutes, but you have somebody that's been in the league a long time. You have somebody that's been a part of some teams that have had expectations. They may have all fallen short of those expectations. The Nets, the Lakers, this Bulls team has been bad. He was traded to the Cavs after he was on the lowly Pistons for years and years. So it's another body. It's a big guy that can bang down low when you have an Embiid on the other side or a Giannis or a Jokic. He's not going to lock those guys down, but he's not going to be a paperweight and just get knocked away like a Porzingis would be. And Porzingis is great, but if you bring in somebody like Drummond, that leaves more opportunity for him to play as a roamer, which we saw Robert Williams have so much success doing for the last 2 seasons. So would I hate it? No. Am I floored by it? No. I think the Celtics look fine now. I think Cornette's been solid. The only thing that you really lack with Cornette is his movability on the perimeter on defense, and you're not getting that from Drummond.
Okay. My thoughts? No. I have no interest. This was the bigger feel. It's just, listen, like Sam just said, Luke Cornett has been fine. And if you want rebounding, that is the goal. If the goal is rebounding, I'm not saying he's as good. He's not the greatest ever. That's why you have Keita on the roster. That is literally the role Joe Mazzulla is viewing Neemias Queta in. And right now, as December 4th, 3:27 p.m., Andre Drummond's a better rebounder than Neemias Queta. Sure. He's almost, however many years younger, 6-7 years younger. He's on a 2-way contract. He's cheaper even if you did sign him to a standard deal. You wouldn't have to use the TPE on him. You could save it for something else if you wanted it. You wouldn't have to spend the extra money, not that you care about that, just from an organizational standpoint.
Not my money.
Exactly. But it just doesn't make any sense to get a guy like Andre Drummond. If you're getting a big, you probably want somebody who is switchable on the perimeter. I don't love the idea of Precious Achiuwa, but that's a better example. Somebody who's a bit quicker, somebody who can play that role a little bit better, who can differ from Horford and Porzingis and Cornette, who primarily play drop now, right? Getting Drummond is just, you're getting him for rebounding at that point because, spoiler alert, he's not a good defender. Just no, he's not quick. He can't get on the perimeter. He can stand there and look menacing, but he's not going to do much. But
the peace sign, though.
The peace sign.
Did the peace sign that one time on the fast break.
It's just it conflicts too heavily with everything else the Celtics have in Neemias Queta to spend that on him. So I'm not a fan personally. I see this all the time too, which is like, I don't know. I don't love it.
I think you're just better off being patient, though. Like, I think if they did it, nobody's like, oh my God, turn on the fire alarm, sprinklers, whatever. But at the same time, I don't think anyone, except for very casual people that are watching the Patriots wither away, like Andre Drummond, he's still good, right? Probably not. He's probably not that good. You could have him on the team, be sick, I guess. But he did get out-rebounded by Luke Cornett and the fellas when Chicago was in town last week, too. Not for nothing. Like, greatest rebounder ever getting pieced by Luke Cornett.
Also got sent to the free throw line a lot of times. Didn't look
that too.
It would be super funny that they get him in. He has to like be friends with Joe. Have you seen that meme where it's like, "Hey, how y'all doing?"
No.
Do you know that meme? Oh,
no,
it's like
I'm not on the TikTok.
It's like I don't know if I'm gonna be able to find it, but it's like a meme of somebody walking into a house. It's like, I don't know if it's Big Brother or some other reality show, but it's like they walk in and everybody clearly hates them and they're like, "Hey, what's up, guys? How you guys doing?" It's just like
my favorite meme along that line is the one of the guy with the glasses and the slicked back hair and the beard, and he like has walked into a room with a bunch of people that have wronged him, and he's just sizing everybody up. I don't remember what it's called. Do you know which one I'm talking about?
No, I don't think I do.
Damn.
This is tough.
He's wearing like a black turtleneck with like gold trim.
Nah,
I don't know.
Not ringing bells.
I'm
not ringing bells.
Called.
Anyways, we can move on from our trying to get each other to understand. Speaking of Joe Mazzulla recently spoke after, I think this was, what was the last game that was at the Garden? I'm blanking.
Philly.
It's been a few days. Philly. After the Philly game.
It's funny.
Gary Washburn. Yeah.
Somebody asked me like how the Celtics were doing today. Like this guy in the coffee shop I always talk to. And I like legitimately couldn't think of who they played last.
It's because it's been like 2 days, and I'm not used to it being that long. So, yeah, but Gary Washburn of the Boston Globe asked him basically, you've had a couple run-ins this year during the in-season tournament with Darko Rajakovic. Is it Darko or Dino Rajakovic?
Darko
Rajakovic, the Raptors coach, and with Billy Donovan, them being upset about you guys running up the score. How is your relationship with other coaches in the league? Like, do you care what they think? Do you have these relationships? Like, basically, Gary asked him, like, do you care about your relationships with other courts or with other coaches around the league? And Joe said, how do I say this nicely? I don't care, but I also have respect for people. Like, I learned from every coach. I think there are a lot of great coaches in the league. I've studied what other teams do, but as far as having an off-court relationship with a coach, I don't. That's like last on the list, which funny as hell. Respect.
That's the only response I wanted to hear.
Yeah.
We've talked in the past. A lot of players love to give each other hugs after the game. Everybody's buddy. The old heads hate it. I kind of hate it, but I understand it. Joe's having none of it. What does he care what Darko has to say or Billy Donovan? Make the playoffs, buddy. That's what he would say.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was a good answer. It was very funny to watch him because it was like the classic Joe stone face, like, no. And he like straight up like, nah, don't go fuck. Don't care, out on it. Joe's like, you got pieces of this with Joe last year in like the press conferences, but this year you can just feel him like not give a fuck even more, which is kind of sick. Like he's just himself, which is very nice. It's refreshing after last season when it felt like he got a lot of
because he has a good
flack
personality and he's just out there
Yeah.
talking mad shit to everybody. I'm for it. I think more people should be like this in the league.
It's fun. I enjoy it. But all right, let's check in with the email here. I think we only have one today. One email. It's been a couple gap days of Celtics ball, so not much. But if you didn't guess who it was from, you bet your ass it's from RJ. All right.
The GOAT.
What's popping? Let me put on Inpopnito on the screen. RJ, what's popping? You can't bake a cake faster. Good morning, guys. Having had a chance to watch the Sixers game after hearing Granding and Max make it sound like the Celtics were doomed to lose by 50. Sorry, I got to digress. No lie. He opened the broadcast reminding people of the big loss to OKC last year, mentioned it again the moment the Sixers got a couple steals, and then not only spent the fourth quarter telling us that if the Celtics wanted to lose, the Magic would be first in the East, he even brought it up again in the postgame too. Dude seems like he's catering to the Patriot fans. Okay, enough of that. Friday's Hospital Sixers lineup reminded me of the current Magic and the Nick Nurse Raptors in the way they defend the passing lanes on and prey on slow or telegraphed passes. The Celtics showed they could overcome their own turnovers, but the faster they recognize these schemes, the sooner they will be dominant opponent-crushing team I believe they can become. Caesar's still getting used to each other so they can play more fluidly and more reflexively. I think they're still like a half a beat behind their give and go actions, defensive switches, but they are getting better. KP and Drew are almost there with the other starters. One area where I think Sam is spot on is that JB is more in tune with the bench guys, getting involved more so than JT. I think when all this clicks, we're going to see the 2022 second half explosion, but dialed up to 11. But like making a great cake, it takes some time. We're almost there. Be well, RJ. I agree. I like the thought process there. Makes sense.
To the Grandy stuff. Maybe Grandy's upset at the team for some reason.
I don't think I've ever listened to Grandy, or if
I've never. I usually don't have to. But also, I agree with like a lot of the things like Grandy was alluding at. Like, I did think they were going to lose for a lot of that game. Like looking at the shooting percentages and then looking at the margin of the lead, it was like, wow, like they're shooting 70%. They should be up more than 7. They didn't play with heart. They didn't play very well, and they didn't deserve to win the game. So I don't think him acting like the vibe was that they were going to lose is crazy. Like, I think it was valid. My mom gave me a hard time, too, because she was watching the game with my dad and I. Mm-hmm. And I was like, I think they're going to lose this game. And she was like, no way. And I'm like, well, like, do you see, like, what's happening in front of you? Like, this is not good. They are making a lot of shots and they're playing lazy and they're not getting stops on second stringers and they're giving up offensive rebounds and they're turning the ball over. Like, these are all things that are ingredients for a lost cake to kind of play along with the email. L cake, fruit cake, whatever one you don't like, that's the one. That's the kind of cake the Celtics were baking on Friday. Just ugly.
I understand what the concept of like the cake baking thing, because it does feel like there are still some kinks the Celtics need to work out, which we kind of expected coming into the year. Like they're still a good team, but they are winning while they are learning while also winning, which is good, right? They're 15-4. It's not like that they're 8-8 or whatever it is.
Where did they start last year?
That's a great question. I can tell you in a second.
Yeah, sorry. I always like get curious and I don't look it up myself. I just ask you, thinking maybe you would know.
I don't know
feel
off the
like
top
I'm
of my
the
head.
big memory guy.
Schedule and results. Last year they started. Okay, I see one loss. They started 15-4 last year, but they started 18-4 before they lost another one.
That's big shoes to fill. They start 18-4 this year. You know what that means?
It's true. Well, maybe
NBA
they should
Cup.
start.
That's what it means.
Oh, okay.
3 more wins.
True. True. Yeah, and then they went through a little bit of struggles and were 26-12. So what is that? 18-4 to 26-12, 8-8 over the next whatever. So there were the struggles. But yeah, no, I agree. I think they're still figuring out some of the kinks with Holiday and KP, and not that it's like I don't want me saying this to sound like it's made a huge difference and they suck, but like KP being hurt does put a slow down. Like it slows it down a little bit. Drew missing a couple games makes it
And
slow
they
down
haven't
a little
lost.
bit. So exactly. I'm not like saying it's a bad thing. I'm just saying like I don't know if it's going to be their back and it's all fixed again. Like they're going to have to figure it out again. But thank you, RJ, for the email. We appreciate it.
I just think Kristaps is a hoss. So I think he does come back and it's all good.
Kristaps is sick. He's been great. I mean, he's completely changing the way they play. But let's check in with the rest of the NBA. Let's take a look around the standings, see who's winning and losing to our Podly check-in. I put on the Celtics background. I know I just did it by accident. I promise I'm going to change it.
I was flying to do it.
I got it. Okay. Since we've spoken, the Pistons have still not won a game, lost 17 in a row. In case you're wondering, Knicks have won 3 in a row. Julius Randle won a fraudulent Player of the Week.
You say it's fraudulent?
No,
After
it's
review?
real. It's real. He had a good week, but it's like, come on, like.
Well,
really?
Jordan Crawford won Player of the Week that one time.
This is true.
Player of the Week's Mickey Mouse.
Sure.
Let me see a Player of the Month.
Sure. My question is, so he averaged, what was it, 26, 13, and 7 on OK efficiency. Would you give it to that or 25, 5, and 8 on 50, 48, 83 splits? I would argue Jalen Brunson should have got it.
Yeah, probably Jalen Brunson.
Anyways, Knicks won 3 in a row. They're back soaring up towards the top of the conference. 76ers lost 2 in a row now, 4-6 in their last 10, although they are dealing with some injuries still. Pacers won a game over the Heat without Tyrese Halliburton, in which Bruce Brown dropped 30 points. Bad for the Heat.
Mad as hell, dude.
However, the day before, or 2 days before, the game before, Pacers were up by 13, had a wire-to-wire win going into the fourth, and then the Heat were up by 16 by midway through the fourth. So, give and take. Jaime Jaquez killed them. He's good. We know ball. The Bulls have won 2 games in a row. Do you know who has played in neither of those 2 games, I believe?
Zach LaVine.
You bet your ass. He has not played in either of those games. In one of the games against Milwaukee, it was Alex Caruso hitting a huge shot at the end of the game. Kobe White had 23 points. Nikola Vucevic had 29, 10, and 6. Well-rounded effort. I believe it was their season high in assists. They had 32. The next game, Kobe White, 30 points, 9 rebounds, 6 assists. DeMar DeRozan, 24 and 10. They once again, 32 assists. It's almost like they're better without Zach LaVine.
Now, do you think that team without, like, if they get rid of those guys and they get decent pieces back, can actually be somewhat competitive?
I think
this is 2 sample size game or a 2-game sample size of really good cohesion, really good ball movement. You know, could it translate into something? Do they have the pieces for it?
I don't think they're necessarily a playoff team. I think it puts them closer to on par with the Raptors and the Nets than the Wizards and the Pistons, which is where they're at right now. Yep. I also think it depends on what they get back for LaVine. Like if they trade LaVine for like a D'Angelo Russell and picks, probably in the same boat. Not that I don't know that D'Angelo Russell's like that much worse, but like I would say too similar. If you trade Zach LaVine for random salary filler and picks to the point where you're running with this group, giving the ball to Kobe White more, maybe you get up there. I also just don't think they're going to be able to dig themselves out of this hole to the point where they'll be in the play-in this year. Like they're what is their record right now? They are 7-14, so not great. I don't think they're a playoff team this year, but I do think it could help them in the long run. That said, like if I'm them, I just fully feed into Kobe White, Patrick Williams, and Aya Dosunmu, and I trade DeRozan too. If they don't trade DeRozan and they don't extend him, that's where it becomes a problem. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, for sure. I just want like the quick surge and ball movement is kind of funny. That's all.
It is. It makes sense.
I mean, there have been seasons where, I mean, when the Celtics made the playoffs in 2015, that was like a weird, like they traded Rondo, traded Jeff Green. They had all these moving parts, and then they end up making a run at the end of the year because the team really gels together.
Who
like,
was this?
That's what I think of. The Celtics.
Oh, yeah.
Like 10 years ago or 9 years ago.
Almost 10. Yeah. No, I agree. I just think there's too much talent in the league for them to jump all the way up at this point. Looking out west, Spurs have still not won. They have lost 14 straight. The Rockets have now lost. Yes, the Rockets have now lost 3 in a row, 4 and 6 in the last 10. Timberwolves have won 4 in a row. And then the rest is a lot of ones and twos in places. But the top of the West is weird, man. Timberwolves at 1, Thunder at 2, Nuggets at 3, Kings at 4. Like, you could give a lot of people a lot of guesses, and they wouldn't have gotten that 4 right now. Like, shout out to these teams.
Yeah, you're getting really, really good basketball from Minnesota and OKC. They're both 8-2 in their last 10. Minnesota beat the Celtics, of course, so we kind of all got like a little taste of how good they are. And good for them. That was a team going into the season. Everyone was like, do these guys really like think they can go through a whole season with this core together? Like Towns was out. Gobert's contract was terrible. Still kind of is, but whatever. He's playing well enough where no one's talking about it. They've done well. Good for them. And Ant is being a very exciting guy to watch. He's emerged, taken his game up another level after the Team USA run where everyone was really like, oh my God, this guy's the greatest. Turns out they were kind of right. OKC, they also, like Orlando, were due for a jump this year, and we're seeing it. Big week for Josh Giddey, too. But they are cruising, so good for them. In Denver, struggling without Murray. Murray came back for one game, then got hurt again. So,
yeah, which, I mean, makes sense, but still stinks.
They're missing Brown. They're missing Jeff Green. These bench guys aren't doing it for him right now.
Yeah. Quiz for you. Tyrese Halliburton, we both love. Yep. He's been nasty. And the Pacers will have just played the Celtics by the time this comes out. I'm going to read you stats, and I need you to guess the sample size I'm pulling from. So, like, you know, you can search by last 3 games, last 5 games. I'm going to read you the stats, like very good stats.
For Halliburton?
These are Halliburton stats over last X amount of games, and I want you to guess how big the sample size based on how good the stats are.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying? 27 points, 3.5 rebounds, 11.8 assists, 51.9% from the field, 44.7% from 3.
Pretty sure that's the whole season. Like he's averaging that many assists for the whole season.
Yes, it's the whole season. That's fucking insane. Do you like?
He's a good player.
Like, and over the last 5 games, it's up to 34-11 on 52-42. Like, free this dude. Like, oh my God, or put pieces around him. Like,
Don't free him. That they're doing okay. The Pacers are what? They're 10-8. They're in this quarterfinal of the in-season tournament. Halliburton just missed a game that they won. But nonetheless, like they've been solid. 5-5 over the last 10, nothing special.
This guy is ridiculous. Like he could genuinely finish top 5 in MVP voting. Like that's the level. Like it's shout out Halliburton, man. He's ridiculous. Other guys playing well over the last 5 games, De'Aaron Fox averaging 30 points. Franz Wagner averaging 26, 7 and 5. Mikal Bridges popping off a little bit. Terry Rozier averaging 23 and 8.5 assists, but I mean, who else is going to do it? Cam Thomas is back, putting up 23. Reggie Jackson's averaging 22 points and 6.5 assists, and they're 4-1 in those games.
He's played really well in Murray's absence.
Yes, he has. Past that, I don't know. We should do our not now, but we should do our early all-star predictions soon. I feel like that'd be a good segment, seeing who we think should be all-stars. All right. Sam, you are more in tune with the in-season tournament than I. Would you like to give us an update on how this is going and everything going on?
Yes. So
some of the games will have happened by now, but this is
as you're listening to this, half of the quarterfinal games will have been played. Celtics, of course, in Indiana tonight to play the Pacers as we're recording this, and then the Pelicans in Sacramento to take on the De'Aaron Fox Sabonis Kings, who have earned themselves home court in this tournament. Tomorrow, big day for the Celtics as they will find out who they're playing in their next game, whether that is the semifinal or Friday's little, hey, you're at the Garden game. Knicks, Bucks in Milwaukee, I believe, in Milwaukee. Time to ball, fellas. Time to ball. We're going to see player of the week, Julius Randle against Giannis. Big matchup. And then you have another big game for me. Phoenix Lakers. Go Phoenix. That is the quarterfinal slate. The winner of all four of those games, the four teams, they will head to Vegas. Semifinals on Thursday, Eastern Conference semifinal will be at 5 p.m. Western Conference, I believe, is much, much later in the day. It's like 9 p.m. or something because they got to clear out the arena.
like
And
local
then, of
time.
course, 5 p.m. our time here.
Okay, but 9 p.m. Okay, damn.
Yeah.
Okay, that's late.
And then you're going to have the final on Sunday, December 9th. Or, I'm sorry, Saturday, December 9th. That'll be between, I don't know what time it's at. I think it's 8 p.m. Eastern. Probably be on ABC. There's no college football on this Saturday, so they lined it up perfectly. But NBA has revealed, hey, you guys worked real hard to participate in this tournament and play well.
I've got it.
You have it. Perfect. I was trying to pull it up. So here are the super cool prizes you're going to win. I always get a kick out of when they present a trophy like this. I don't know if you've seen the graphic, and I really don't care if we pull it up or not, but it explains all these little design intricacies of the trophy. It's like there are 30 loops in the net around the base for all 30 teams. But anyways, winning team gets that cup you saw at the top. This thing that was on your screen a little bit lower is the tournament MVP trophy. Sick.
I
kind of looks
think
like
it's
a
kind of
windmill.
cool. I think that's kind of cool. I fuck with this. Yeah, this is dope.
You like that?
I do. It's like the basketball without the ball. I'm like smooth brained right now, but yeah, I like it. I enjoy it.
Little bit lower is every single player on the winning team will get a super cool medal.
Sure.
Something they kind of ripped from soccer as they ripped the whole tournament. They get a winner's medal. So kind of cool that everyone gets this instead of a ring.
Yeah, I like
Can't wait till we all start talking about medals. Medal count. Who's got the most medals? Medal culture. And then they will announce an all-tournament team, and these guys will receive, in my opinion, the sickest hardware of all of them.
Yeah, this is cooler than the MVP.
Yeah, they will get a basketball. It is a, what does it say? Crystal basketball. All solid black with gold little seams on it, like a regular basketball would have. Just sick.
This
sick
is very
trophy,
cool.
sick relic, whatever you want to call it. If I was in the NBA, I would want one of these.
Yeah.
Still want one. I'm not in the NBA. Just poor. I can't buy it.
Yeah, that is sick. That is very cool. Yeah. I mean, I see. Like, I don't know. Like, I think the trophies are cool. I don't care that it's like one extra little award thing. I don't know how much the players will care, but it is kind of cool, and you can bet on it. And there are some good odds if you'd like to bet for MVP. Just saying, kind of good. Like Jalen Brunson. Not saying the Knicks are going to make a run, but if they do, I would bet on him to be the MVP. You can bet on Jalen Brunson to win in-season tournament MVP at plus 2,500. Pretty good odds, if you ask me, for a guy in a solid team. But yeah, we'll see what happens. I don't know who. I think Tatum might be the front runner for MVP right now. So, like, sure, if he wins it, but we'll have to see what happens in that sense. Next thing we got here is Ime Udoka versus LeBron James. So we're a little late on this. We could have talked about it in the last show. We didn't, but we'll talk about it now. Ime Udoka and LeBron James were recently conversing on the sidelines. And Ime Udoka effectively told LeBron, stop being a bitch. Stop whining. And now I've seen a lot of Celtics fans say, fuck the Celtics for getting rid of him. I would turn it around and say, I understand the energy. channeling it in the wrong place. How about fuck Udoka for fucking it up? Like, fuck this guy for being a moron. And just like, bro, you all you had to do was not do what you did, and you would have had the job. Like it was so simple. It was just, don't fuck another member of the staff. Like, don't be creepy and weird, and like, you'd have a job. That's my take. That said, completely separate from that, funny as hell to watch him battle it out with LeBron on the sidelines.
Mad respect for Ime. You don't really see enough people challenge LeBron. You don't. He mostly always like beats the fuck out of whoever does actually challenge him, but it's interesting when it's a coach because he can't like do the Dylan Brooks treatment to him and just destroy him. But I respect it because nobody ever calls him out for like complaining, at least on the court. Like, it's a lot of buddy. We kind of touched on it earlier in the show with the Mazzulla quote where he's not really looking to make friends. He doesn't care if he's hanging out with other coaches or building relationships. He's about winning. And tons of respect for Ime for calling LeBron out for complaining. He's a massive complainer. Threw a temper tantrum on the court last year. Kind of sucks. They got hit with double techs, which is fair, but Ime got ejected off of this because he already had a tech.
Yeah.
Now, had it been a one-way tech, would have been much, much more like, wow, they really have LeBron's back around the league, don't they? But you kind of have to give both of these guys techs, or you don't give any tech at all. I'm not sure.
Don't give any tech at all.
Double tech.
Yeah, don't give any tech at all.
But at the same time, like, I don't know if this little thing is worth someone getting ejected over, even if they have one tech already. Like, just not. I don't know. Like, are they really disrupting the game that much? No, they're not. They gave us all something to talk about. Respect.
Yeah, agree. Lame, they got ejected. Or lame, Ime got ejected. Lame, they got text. Refs have been on one with the text this year, man. It's
sure
been
have.
weird. Not a fan. Next thing we have is something else that you put on here. I think I saw it on Twitter, so I can pull it up. This is Zion Williamson.
Pull it up.
I believe. Is this the Bulls thing you saw?
Yes.
Okay.
So
I
Zion
saw it on Twitter.
Lacking integrity for the game, which comes as no surprise with this guy. Gets fat on purpose. Hasn't wanted to be a member of the Pelicans since day one. But TikTok comes out. Zion having a chat with one of Chicago's assistant coaches. Assistant coach says to him, "Heard you want to play for us." Zion says, "Whoa, you're not supposed to say that out loud." Right? Yeah, whoa, don't say it out loud. Also, one, Zion's under contract, and he did sign an extension, right, Jack?
Yeah.
Okay, so not only did you sign a contract extension, but the
Through
Pelicans team that is around Zion is worlds better than the dumpster fire Bulls. So this isn't even like a I want to win thing and be in the best situation. It's I want to play on a big market team.
under contract
even
through 27-28.
Through 2027, 2028. And you're trying to force your way out 5 years early? What is going on? You got people complaining about running up the score. Why don't we complain about this? Why is there not more like, shame on you, Zion? You're like quitting on a team that's legitimately tried to build a good contender around you, and you can't even stay healthy enough to help them compete. This guy is the absolute worst. He's a rat. I've had enough of Zion. He's like, what, 21, 22, and I'm already out on him. I don't know. This is just a disgusting move. I don't care for the Pelicans. They have probably the worst jerseys in the NBA. They're a terrible brand. All of that could be true. But the front office has done what they can to put a competitive team out there. And you cannot fault them for that. And you cannot force your way out just to go play for the Bulls because they're a brand. Because Mike played there. Look at the Bulls. The Bulls are a joke.
My thing is, and this might just be Jack is often more positive than Sam. I wonder how much of this is being blown out of proportion. I don't know. Like, what if this is just I'm trying to think of the way to phrase this.
I'm gonna let you talk.
Yeah. I don't know this for sure, but for example, like this is not me saying I know this, but this would make sense in my head. let's say Zion and this coach, like, I don't know if, like, maybe he coached him in college, maybe he coached him in high school, maybe he knows him. And so the coach goes, heard you want to play for us. And then Zion sarcastically, like, whoa, don't say it. Like, you know what I'm saying? I wonder if it was that sort of interaction where it's, I've known this guy forever. He's making a joke that I want to come play for him again. I'm going to joke around, haha, like, whatever. Like, I'm not saying it definitely is that. And I'm not saying, like, maybe Zion does want to play in Chicago. But I am saying I think it's also equally as possible that he was just fucking around with a guy he's known for a long time.
I think a lot of things would need to be true. A lot of dominoes would have to fall for that to be the case. That is a very, very niche situation.
I'm
could
just
be
saying,
true. It
people
could be
have
possible.
people have a lot of relationships in the NBA. It would not surprise me at all if they have a past relationship and they know each other. That's all.
Zion is the biggest rat that has not skipped town yet. Like, this is like Kyrie levels of, I'm going to just tear this down because I don't want to play here. Because they've done everything they can do for him. It would be one thing if, like...
Have context. Somebody on Twitter, that coach Zion is standing next to was fired a year ago, so it literally can't be from this year. So it's at the very least not recent. The video we're seeing.
Okay.
Both a video was originally uploaded.
We know who that is.
February 17th. It's where's the full name? I see it. I see the last name. Umidi is his last name. Chigozie Umidi. He was the director of basketball operations manager for the Windy City Bulls, is what I'm seeing. I don't know if they have a past relationship. I can't see that. But that is what I do know.
Okay. Well, it wasn't yesterday.
It wasn't recent.
The Pelicans, by the way, last year were top of the conference before Zion got fat and couldn't play. So there's that. I mean, he still was quitting on a team that was looking to put a competitive roster around him. I can't get behind that. Maybe the feeling has changed, but I don't know. The whole narrative ever since he got drafted there was he doesn't want to play there. And he's done everything he can do to just be like, hey, that rumor was true. I hate it here. So I don't know, man. I don't have a lot of respect for that.
Again, the glass half full or whatever, like, benefit of the doubt in me wants to believe that it's just joking. If it is any sense real, lame as fuck. That's what I've got.
It is lame. Like we've talked about guys in the past. Give me some like Bradley Beal, right? With the Wizards. That is just downhill. Like, nothing was going on there. Like, when the trade was requested, we could all at least a little bit be like, I kind of get it. That is just not the case.
Yeah. All right. Next thing we have is the Pistons being embarrassing, because that's exactly what they are. I believe the quote we have here. What is this? I know Troy Weaver had a quote, I believe, this recently, and somebody asked him, like, "What's the worry level? Are you to change things?" I want to find the quote, and I know where I can find it, so I'm going to find it relatively quickly here. Pistons GM Troy Weaver. Oh, nope, that's a different thing. God fucking damn it. Hold up. Hold, please.
You want me to read what's on the sheet?
No. I've got it. It's going to be here in 2 seconds. I saw somebody tweet about it. Yes. The Pistons are reluctant to hit the panic button and would like to see the roster gel. Quote, sources say Pistons brass is reluctant to hit the panic button. This is from the Detroit Free Press. So it's a newspaper, like a local newspaper.
That's what's on the sheet. Detroit Free Press, it's right here.
Yeah, I know, but the quote you have is not the quote that I saw on Twitter.
This is just from the article. It's not from the general manager.
I know that what I have is also from the article, but it's not what you have.
Okay.
It's his sources say Pistons brass is reluctant to hit the panic button, meaning a sweep of the front office change looks unlikely for now. With 3 to 4 months in the season, there's time for the roster to gel, fortunes to turn. Bogdanovich's return at the very least should make Cunningham's life easier, blah, blah, blah. And then Duncan Smith, who is a Pistons fan and somebody I worked with at Fansided or knew from Fansided, joked, quote, speaking as the front office, we think the front office needs some more time, which is the joke I saw. But yeah, sorry, I didn't see that because it was a different from what you put here.
It's pretty much the same thing. It's just like the Pistons aren't giving up hope on this season for whatever reason. They do believe in their guys, and the article even goes as far to say, depending on which way the Pistons are trending a month from now, they could look to upgrade their roster by swinging a trade for a talented veteran. By the way, I did see on the Dunk Central on Twitter, I forget where the original source of the report was, but Pistons might be interested in Zach LaVine. They really want to turn it around.
I saw that.
The quote comes from Bobby Marks. He says, I would not be surprised if they dip their toe into Zach LaVine and see what his market is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's not how you're going to get your first playoff win since 2008.
I understand why they would want to, because they need some extra shot creation, but that would probably be bad.
Not a winning player.
Probably bad. All right. Quickly have to turn the screen back to green because Jayson Tatum just won NBA Player of the Month.
See, look, not Mickey Mouse.
That just came through.
Not a Mickey Mouse award.
Jayson Tatum and Nikola Jokic were named East and West
Two good
Player
players
of the Month. Yep. He was the first Player of the Month of the season because October and November are combined. Him and Jokic averaging 29, 13, and 9. Tatum averaging 28, 9, and 4 roughly. Both on great teams. Jayson Tatum takes it home. And yeah, I mean, good for Tatum, right? Congrats.
I'm pretty sure he won Player of the Month in this time frame last year too.
I'd believe it. Can I see that somewhere?
I'm Googling it right now.
Yeah, but Tatum's been great. The Celtics have been great.
Yes.
Tatum did win.
Booker.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. So it makes sense. Didn't Derek White win Player of the Month at some point last year, or Player of the Week?
He might have got it in February. It might have been Player of the Week though, because he had that absolute monster week of 3 games where he just ripped off 3 double doubles in a row, and then he had the Bucks game where no one else played, and he just
Player of the Week. Yeah, it's fire.
Sadly, Mickey Mouse award.
Unfortunately,
Second team all defense, not Mickey Mouse though.
No, not at all. Of course not. Would never. 3 different Celtics won Player of the Week last year. That was nuts. But yeah, good for Tatum. Just we had to talk about it briefly because it happened.
Of course.
And lastly, last NBA thing we've got going back to it is
not
James
Player
Harden. James Harden talking about the 76ers. You also wrote this in here, so I'll let you hit the highlights if you want.
Yes. So James Harden did a little sit down with Sam Amick of The Athletic. Talked about a few different things, mainly the exit from Philly. Talked about his relationship with Daryl Morey and what actually happened to lead to him leaving the Sixers. So this is a quote from James Harden. Says Morey promised him the max. Yes, a max. In fact, a max. He said, yeah, me and Daryl had a really good relationship. So in the past, a week or two after we lose in the playoffs, it would be all about trying to figure out how to improve the team. They'd talk about how do we get better? And that's been going on for 10 plus years. You know what I mean? And then this year, no communication. At this point, I was like, okay, I see what's going on. I'm very intelligent. So then I just figure out what's my next move and what do I want to do? So I understand that at the end of the day, this is a business. And just like that, he has to do what's best for the organization. I have to do what's best for me and my family. Simple as that. So sounds like they said, hey, you can have a max. And then Morey watched him disappear in games 6 and 7. He was like, maybe we shouldn't give this guy a max. And maybe that's why he didn't talk to him about the future of the team in the offseason, because they clearly did last year. He took a pay cut so they get PJ Tucker in there. Yeah, I can't blame them. Any thoughts on that initial part, or should I move on to the next? Quotes?
Just that, like, that's what I assumed happened. I feel like that's what most people assumed happened. And as much as, yes, rat move for James Harden for the way he handled it, in my personal opinion, which I've stated in the past, equally as rat move for promising something and taking it back. Just don't fucking promise it in the first place then. If you think there's a chance you're gonna have to take it back. So that's my stance. But
maybe he had to promise it to keep him from requesting a trade like mid-season.
Don't promise shit you're not gonna. I stand on it. You know this. We've had this conversation a million times.
Sure. Then he talked about the opt-in in the summer when he had the chance to just go somewhere else without, holding everybody hostage. He was asked if he was sweating the whole are you going to get traded? You're not going to get traded. He goes, no, I wasn't sweating. It was just patience because the day that I opted in, there was a conversation and communication within the Sixers organization about it being a 10-day process. This was going to happen within 10 days. Then it got dragged out for 4.5 months or however long it was. So at that point, you're holding my life up, holding everybody else's life up. You're making it look crazier than what it was. And something that we had internal conversations about is basically dragging out. So it was a little frustrating. All in all, I'd sacrificed all that to go to Philly with some people that I trusted, and it bit me in the ass. You know what I mean? So it's part of life. And we go through certain things, and it's going to make me tougher. Thoughts?
It's the same thing. Like, I understand. Like, I think both parties were wrong. And I understand that you and a lot of other people blame James Harden more than the team. But, like, if the team says something and then they go back on it or things change, I understand it's a business. I understand things change that make their plans change. But I also understand the frustration with if they say it's going to be a 10-day process and it's not, like, of course he's going to be upset, right? So, again, I am a little more 50-50 than I feel like you and most other people are. But that's the way I've always thought about it.
Other things that were discussed in terms of the opt-in and trade. He kind of understood if he opted out, like all the contenders don't have money.
Yeah.
A lot of the teams with young guys don't want to disrupt that. So he talked about those things. But also, like, if you were really worth it, like the good teams would find a way to get you. See Drew Holiday.
Yeah, that's a part of it. And I think that's the half where it is rat move by James Harden. Because, like, you could have just fucking opted out, signed for less money, and had you right. That's where he's the rat. The rat for the team is you say you're going to do things over and over again. You don't do it. And then you're like, I don't know if they did it intentionally, but then you're painting it as, oh, James not cooperating. Well, because you didn't really do what you did either. So that's where I lean both sides should have handled it better.
And then finally, on the new look Clippers, does he think it's working? It's hard to tell overall, but I think this is just a really good situation for me in the sense of having an opportunity to win, being around the family, and just having an opportunity to still chase my goals and things I want to accomplish basketball-wise. Do we think that they're actually in a good situation to win? No.
Look, I think
they beat the Warriors the other day.
I think the Clippers were the best situation for James Harden to have a chance to win because all the other teams didn't need him and or didn't want him. Do I think the Clippers will win the title? No. Do I think they have a chance to win the title? I think with the players on the roster, it's impossible to ever rule them out, even though the chance might be like 1%. Do you know what I'm saying? Like Kawhi Leonard, Paul George, both good players. James Harden, for all his flaws, fine player as well. Good chance, no chance, maybe. So, like, meh. I'm like meh on the Clippers. That's where I'm at.
They suck.
I was waiting for you to like agree that. Yeah. So that's whatever. Is that the rest of the NBA stuff? Do we want to move on to the rat list now?
Moving on.
All right. Do you want to lead here? Or do you want me to go?
You can go ahead, unless you don't have a lot.
Rat list. I won't say names, but Sam and I played pickup basketball last night.
Basketball stories are back.
Certain teammates. Listen, I'll start with this. I am not fast. I get out of breath easily. I'm not in good shape. I'm just not in shape, right? It is what it is. Sam runs every day. I don't. I'm not like it is.
That should be one of those Bleacher Report graphics. I am not fast. I am not in good shape.
I am quick enough, like on a sprint, like I can get up and down the court pretty quick, but then I'm gassed. However, and Sam can attest, I get my ass back on defense for the most part. I'm pretty good at staying in on defense. Sometimes I don't get up.
I'm going to say this.
But
Jack is describing himself right now, and if you watch Jack play, you would not really get the hint that he's tired. You wouldn't get that kind of message.
Good to know.
So credit to Jack.
Because I'm fucking exhausted. It sucks.
Yes.
And you're a piece of shit for Sam. Okay, this isn't the story. So I am gassed already. We had one sub per team. So Sam sat the first 5 minutes in a 10-minute game. Sam checks in and he subs in for the guy who's guarding me. Sam looks at me and goes, I'm making you run. And he just starts fucking sprinting around the half court, up and down the court. And I was running with you. Like I was trying.
Yeah,
but
no,
like,
you didn't.
Fuck.
There were a couple times like on like transition plays where I just kind of outran everybody. But besides that, like, you didn't just like let me run around and like do the Curry thing where I just run off the ball and look to catch and shoot.
Yeah.
But I was also a game deep before we even started playing. I played a men's league game in the afternoon. So don't be like I'm so tired and Sam comes in fresh.
Sam, you could have played 5 fucking games that day and you'd still run faster and more, better than
I was coming off being stiff on the bench, sitting there.
Shut the fuck
tense.
up. My rat list, though, is certain teammates don't like to get back on defense. Not only that, they like to demand the ball on offense. They like to this is, if you're watching on YouTube, I'll explain it for the audio listeners, but I missed a layup, a teammate missed a layup. Like you go through, it happens, right?
Sure.
Body language. My thing is good shot, get back, right? Positive. This guy, shoulder shrug. Oh fuck! Like that helps nobody. That makes everybody dislike you. You're an asshole.
I don't get
not
that.
only that,
I don't get why people act like that when they play. Like
on top of that, sorry, I need to finish because I'm mad.
It's your story.
I'm running up and down the court, and this guy doesn't run back on defense. He gets back on offense. I'm still coming back from defense. He looks at me. He goes, "Big guy, get in the paint. What are you doing?" I'm like, in that moment, I was so close to saying, "I'm fucking running, you piece of shit. You're not doing anything. That's why you're not tired." It got me so fucking mad. I don't like to cause problems, though, so I stayed quiet. I set screens for him. We actually won a few games in a row at the end. It was fine, but I was getting very angry. It made that's the worst type of player. And I know my limitations because I'm not a quick guy, and so I actively try to avoid being that player. The worst.
No. It is the absolute worst you can be. There's nothing worse than the people that talk down to you when you play. There's nothing worse than the people that don't get back on defense. You should play defense first. If you don't have energy, don't come up for offense. And don't try and do everything you can possibly do dribbling on offense and burn all your energy on that end of the floor. Play defense. It's not always just like that guy. I mean, I've never seen that guy before. But like, I just hate when people don't play defense. It kills me.
It's not even just that guy. It's happened like other people, like Ball and like other people we've played with and I've played with and you played with. It's just the worst like archetype of a pickup player.
Maybe we watch too much where we're like, we just like know that's not how you play.
Yeah.
At the highest level, you don't play like that.
Yeah. I don't know. It was frustrating. I will say, not ratless, but funny story. At the end of the game, fucking Henry has the ball, and so I just walk up to him and I really clear it out. I'm guarding him. I steal the shit out of the ball from him. I take it. But then I'm on the break. I slip a little bit because same guy is up the court, hasn't gotten back on defense. He goes, "Yo, come on, pass it up." I'm like,
yeah,
give
I don't
it up.
like that.
You saw that, right? You remember that?
Well, the very rare occasion, I did see it, but the very rare occasion where I don't get back and like someone like looks up, I'm like, don't give me the ball. Like I didn't get back. I don't deserve it. Like I will literally say that to you. I'm like, just you take it. No, I don't want it.
So fucking annoying, man. And not
Henry, by the way, game-winning pass yesterday. Good for Henry.
It was a really good pass to Frank. And hey, I'm not saying it was like Zach LaVine, but it was the first game we started winning. This dude was on the bench. Yeah. All I'm saying, the vibes were changed.
Addition by subtraction.
And loved my teammates. I actually almost everybody on my team outside of that guy like loved. Like it was a great team. Objectively, probably the worst team there based on talent level. Just we were. Am I wrong? Tell me I'm wrong. So I'm not saying we won on vibes. That guy goes to the bench. We start winning. That's all I'm saying. Hand up. Hey, come on. So that rat list,
rat list, Subway. Rat list, Subway. So
you were so excited for this.
I entered this when I was trying to produce the show today. I put on the rat list. I said, rat list Subway's footlong cookies. I'm going to get fat as fuck. Now, I have done more research to find the Subway footlong cookies are only available in certain cities. Chicago, New York, and some others. Big ones.
Damn. Boston?
Not near me. Not Boston, I don't think. Devastating. Damn. Devastating news. I was looking forward to it all day today. I was like, I'm going to go get myself a footlong cookie from Subway. I worked really hard yesterday. Too. Subway has the best cookies in all the land, probably.
They're so good.
So rat list to them, because every news story I saw about it this weekend was like, yo, Subway footlong cookies coming soon, which I think is true. I think in 2024, Subway is going to have footlong cookies everywhere. But for today, December 4th, which is National Cookie Day.
You can't advertise it as it's coming and then say, "Oh, but only these places." That's bad.
It hurts. It hurts. I was very looking forward to it.
Yes. Rat list, whatever just popped up in my Twitter feed. This is you ever read something on Twitter? This is not basketball. This is just like some random shit that popped in my timeline, and you're like, "What the fuck?" So I'm going to read you the tweet that just came up on my timeline. It's completely random. Netflix and Adam McKay's Average Height, Average Build has been canceled. The film would have starred Robert Pattinson, Robert Downey Jr., and Amy Adams in a story that followed a serial killer who joins politics to change the laws to be more murder-friendly. What the fuck? What the fuck is that?
What?
Why was that ever a thing? Like, why?
That's hilarious. It's probably a comedy.
That's just the most random shit.
Adam McKay made Step Brothers.
Also, Average Height, Average Build. It was the title. Why was that? Like, I'm sure it would have been funny. Like, maybe like
Sounds hilarious.
Like, random as hell. Like, I was reading. I'm like, follows a serial killer that joins politics to change. I was like, whoa, we're getting in the weeds here. What is happening? It was just very random, and I was very like taken aback just to see it on the timeline. But yeah, weird. That's yeah. Ooh, I don't know if I have any other rat list. I don't know. Oh, maybe it's not rat list because I don't want to like actually rat list Henry. But Henry does this thing. So
You
we
don't
went
wanna
to
rat list him. You've only done it before.
You're right. But this isn't like a rat listable thing. It's just like a what the fuck. We got KFC after ball last night because we were hungry. We just got like some nuggets, some fries, whatever. It's good.
I had three McCrispies myself.
Henry, so I'll do a reenactment, right? You're the drive-through person. Ask me what I want. Just say what do you want.
Welcome to KFC. What can I get for you today?
This is me. Yeah, I'll take a whatever piece nugget. I'll get this for a drink, this for this. Then you go anything else, and then this is Henry. Yeah, can I get four pieces of this? Like, I'm like, Henry, you are 1 foot to the left of me. You don't need to increase the volume by fucking.
Oh no!
decibels.
Well, I've never worked in the drive-thru, so I actually can't tell you. If you have worked in the drive-thru in the past, in the comments, tell us if it is helpful if the second person that is not in the driver's seat is a little bit louder.
Well, see, here's the thing. Henry almost got validated because he said it, and the person goes, "What'd you say?" However, wait. Reason was because Henry ordered a 9-piece nugget. They don't serve 9-piece nuggets. He was reading the price, so he just got. That is why they said what. But this is like an every time thing. Like Henry,
Yeah,
just scream, and every time it catches me off guard, so I just go, "What the fuck?" And it like scares me a little bit, which is very funny, and also deafening. But yeah,
deafening.
And then he just does it in general too. So like be reading something and go, "Yeah, this," and then he catches himself. He goes, "Oh, sorry." Yeah, then he just goes back to his normal voice. I'm like, Henry, I'm right next to me. So yeah, kind of rat list Henry for that.
So,
you got anything else? Okay.
I have done rat lists about this topic before.
Yes.
But yesterday was the most egregious representation of this I've ever seen. I was at the gym yesterday. My least favorite thing about the gym is the people. I hate the people. Why do I hate the people? The people, they love to fucking collect weights like they're Thanos collecting the Infinity Stones. They got to get all of them. Now, this fucking guy, I have expressed my displeasure with the popularity of the fly machines before. They have 2 fly machines at Planet Fitness. The reason why they're so popular is because you can do multiple muscle groups on them. You can do your back, you can do your chest. People working on both of those days have interest in using them. So that's why they're popular. They also have 2 of them.
Sure.
There is one fly machine that faces the rest of the gym. There is another fly machine that faces the opposite way. I'm coming from the rest of the gym. I see somebody on the fly machine that I can see, but the other one's open. I'm like, sick. I go over there. There is a fucking water bottle and a towel on the seat. There is not a person within 500 feet of this area. So what
Yeah.
do? I go and take a piss because that's what I do
Mhm.
to pass the time at the gym when I'm waiting for a machine. I don't want to just lurk. So I go take a piss. I come out.
Sure.
The other
Yeah.
person on the other fly machine is left.
Okay.
So I sit down. I start using it.
Uh-huh.
I now have view of the water bottle, and I may get to find out who the fucking culprit of this fucking crime is.
Mm-hmm.
So then I see this fucking bald dickhead come strolling over that was at the fucking benches, which are halfway across the facility. They could not be more far away from where he has planted his fucking flag on the seat of this machine. So nobody else can take it while he's halfway
Yeah.
across the gym. I always complain about this in my group chat, and my friend who is like into the gym stuff, like says, well, it's called supersets. That's why they hoard all the weights so they can do supersets. Well, I'll tell you this. You can do as many fucking supersets as you want. Your fucking hair's not coming back.
I knew that's what you were gonna say. That's
fucking rat
awesome.
list. If you're at the gym, one thing at a time. Do one thing at a time.
Sure. Yeah. Next time I go to the gym, I'll keep that in mind. That'll
Yeah.
be-
Our buddy Matt, or my buddy Matt, who Jack's going to get to know over the next week, has had a Planet Fitness membership like since before COVID. He just never goes, but never canceled it.
Yeah. I used to go to the gym. When I was in college, I had a buddy who I was friends with, Thomas. I haven't talked to in years. Shout out Thomas, who was like not into the gym, but he goes every once in a while. So I was like,
Yeah.
Thomas, go to the gym, teach, like
Yeah.
help me out. And we did it for a little while, and it was fine. And then, as with everything, COVID hit. Didn't go back to the gym. It's just
I actually started doing more stuff in COVID.
you shut down. Well, aren't you fucking cool? Look at you. So you know the freshman 15, like how you gain weight freshman year of college. I lost weight my freshman year of college because not even the gym. So at Worcester State, which is where I went to school. Shout out Worcester State. They have a rec gym where it's just like a multi-purpose gym, and they had like hoops, right? And so I would literally I wouldn't have anything else to do. So I'd go to class, I'd go back, and I'd literally like 6 to 8 hours. I would just play hoops. I'd just play 2s, 3s. It was genuinely the best fucking time ever. And it got to the point where, as you can see, as Sam knows and as Ball knows, my glasses are fucked. I got goggles to wear.
You should get goggles again. I think you play.
I know. But they called me Kareem because I wore goggles, not because I was good, because I wore goggles. But like I knew people, it was fun. Like, the same people go there, and it was cool. And I literally I would go straight from class to ball, spend 8 hours there. It was awesome, and I lost weight because of it. But then, fucking COVID, couldn't ball, blah blah blah. It's just fucked everything up. But yeah, shout out hoops, man. That shit was so fun. Shout out Worcester State. I haven't been back to Worcester State in forever. We had our drive-through graduation.
Get invited back someday. You'll be so successful they ask you to speak. Could happen.
I was a nursing major. They ain't asking me for shit.
Doesn't matter. You're kidding me? If you become successful, those fucking colleges are little fucking like little gremlins. They want anything they can get any way to make more money. I got hey, you went here, come speak. So everyone's like, hey, he's successful. He went here.
I got a scholarship from them when I applied as a nurse, but then I kept the scholarship when I changed majors 2 times. So shout out Worcester State for letting me fucking get through that shit. No, Worcester State was good, man. It was fun. I was my work study. You didn't live on campus, so work study is like you do job on campus.
Yeah, I'm aware.
Whatever. Okay, well, I don't fucking know.
You don't need to explain.
Yeah. So mine was quote home game management. So I would just so I would work the games and stuff. I was the only person who had to do the book because I used to do the basketball book for my brothers for Henry's Travels games. So I did the book for all the home games for men's and women's basketball. It was fucking awesome. Got to know the people. It was a good time. That was great. However, most fire sport to do on campus, field hockey, because I got there early enough where I was the scoreboard operator. So all I had, and the other job for field hockey was sidelines, which is if the ball goes out of bounds, go fucking chase the ball, buddy. But that was the best because I knew the scoreboard and I got there early enough every time to do scoreboard. And the guy, Curtis, shout out Curtis, legend, let me do scoreboard every time. He was like the SID or the information something
Sports
like the
Information Director.
yeah. Yes, that's
probably
the word.
gives the stats to like the major websites.
Yes, yeah. So I did that every time. But in field hockey, it is a running clock, and you just do it every time they score. The scores are like what 8-7. So like I did like two things the whole time. I just fucking sat there. Baseball was also fire because all you did was either do the scoreboard or
The
chase
runs.
foul balls. Yeah. So those were fun. Basketball was great because it's basketball, and I like doing the book. But yeah, no, it was a good time. I that's all I got though. I was just random.
Yeah, I never
story.
lived on campus. I went
I
to
loved
community
it.
college, then I went to URI, and I took the bus because I wanted to play
Football was
baseball.
also cool, but football was a lot of work. Football was like you're running with the balls and pitching it back to people. It was a lot more complicated than you would want. Hockey was annoying too because hockey was off campus, so you had to like get a ride and you had to go find. It's a pain in the ass. Oh, I did sit in the penalty box though and just open the door, and that was kind of fun.
Oh, that's fire.
Except during intermission, you have to go. So you know turkey baster is.
Yes.
You would have to go out on the ice, put little spikes that you strap to your shoes, and take the goal off, take the water that's trying to freeze in the holes where the goal goes, and then put it back in because it would like freeze, and you didn't want it to freeze, so you'd have to like change it. It was weird, but it was like,
Okay.
I'm just talking now. I've got nothing else. You want to wrap here?
Wrap it up.
Okay. I'm just fucking talking. All right. Thank y'all for tuning in. We appreciate it very much. Make sure to subscribe to How About Them Celtics. By this time, you know if the Pacers or Celtics won, who advance. Hopefully it's good.
If the Celtics didn't advance, then we're outless because Jack and I are going out there. And
Yeah.
I mean, listen, Halliburton's cool and all, but I would like to see the Celtics.
Every time you say it, I'm reminded I have to get on a plane.
Get ready to fly, buddy. It's all right. You'll watch like a movie. Maybe we'll pick a movie. We'll probably sit together. We have our seats on the plane, seats of 2.
I might not sleep and then just sleep on the plane. We'll see.
You were just so still, I thought I froze.
No, sorry about that. I'm just stressed. All right. Thank y'all for tuning in. I'll let Sam wrap it up.
Hey, thank you very much for listening or watching. If you're watching, make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel. Leave a like. Leave a comment. Tell us if Henry was right or wrong to to raise his voice in the drive-thru. You can also hit the notification bell so you don't miss any of our daily uploads. We got pods, film breakdowns, Talking C's with Bobby Kravitsky, and of course the pregame streams, which are a ton of fun, so you don't want to miss those. That way you get a notification to your phone. You can also find us on Spotify and Apple. If you just want the audio versions of game recaps and the full-length pods, those will be there. Leave a 5-star review. Say something nice. You can find us, if you want to email us, hptcpod@gmail.com. It's a great way to get your questions across. It's a great way to enter Inpopnito because you want to win that popcorn. It's baller. It's great. There's a zillion flavors. I enjoy it. I need to put my new order in. I'll probably do it when I get back because I'm not trying to have my popcorn sit around and get stale. You can also follow us on socials at How About Them C's. That's Twitter, Instagram, TikTok. Facebook is just the name of the podcast. Our pregame streams are there, just like they're on YouTube. You can follow Jack on Twitter at JacksonNBA. You can follow me at Sam LaFrance NBA. It's it for us now.